School committee meeting of Tuesday, September 4th, 2014. This meeting is being broadcast. We do have members of the media present. If anyone would like a rebroadcast of or additional information regarding the broadcast of this meeting, please contact either myself or any members of the administration or the committee. First things first, good evening everyone. Welcome back. Hopefully everybody had a good summer. First meeting agenda item is approval of the minutes. This is from the school committee meeting of July 24th. This is our summer session. If every members had an opportunity to review the minutes. And if I can get a motion for approval of the minutes. Motion from Mike, second from Joe. All in favor? We have 6 in favor, 1 abstention. Moving on to our second agenda item, announcements and correspondence. Do any members have any announcements and correspondence? Patrick.
I do have, I suppose I call it an announcement / correspondence. I've been in communication with a couple parents who received lists of recommended items that students should have for school. And I know that our policy that we've adopted is it's absolutely improper for anyone to send out a required list of materials for any class. But we do have in our policy a recommendation list that is acceptable. And so the concern that I had heard, and it was from several parents, was that when these lists of recommended items were handed out, they were staggered out over the period of the first week. So it required multiple trips, to Staples or to wherever they were to go to purchase those things. And so I wonder if it's not wise as a district if we instruct our building principals to maybe speak to our teachers and make sure that if we are going to be giving out lists of recommended items, a building should do it all at once. Whether it's the first day or the second day, whatever the teachers are comfortable with, but so long as it all happens at once to sort of take that level of stress. I mean, I think we were talking about earlier, the beginning of the school year is very stressful to a lot of people. And so if we can do anything to help mitigate that, I think it probably makes sense to do so.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I think I'm now on a first name basis with the guy at Staples. So if we could do that, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Thank you, Patrick. Any other members? Okay. Just take an opportunity just to say welcome back. Thank you to the teachers as well as to the administrators. A successful start to school. Had an opportunity to see many of the schools on the first day of school. Joe and I had an opportunity with Bob and Kathy and the rest of our peanut gallery here to go building by building. And as always, the teachers and the principals were more than gracious hosts and hostesses. And it was great to see the students and great to see all the teachers back at school and off to a great start to the year. I get my daily updates from my 9th grader and my 5th grader, but it's great to see everybody back at school and off to a great start. So thank you guys.
Excellent.
Bob, anything to add?
No, nothing. I'll give my back to school report later in the agenda.
Excellent. All right, we will move on to our next agenda item. Next item is invitation to speak. Do we have anyone here for invitation to speak? Seeing no one, we will move on. Up next, and I will tell you, this is one of my favorite things that we do every year, is the Senator Lewis P. Bertnazzi Foundation, Inc., Incorporated Outstanding Teacher of the Year nominees and recipients. So one of my absolute favorite things we get to see every year is some very deserving and recognized teachers. So Senator, if you'll please come join us. We do have some Bob Barker microphones for you. So
I think he's wired up.
Oh, are you wired up this evening?
I'm wired.
You are high tech. You are high tech. All right.
Yes.
So
Things have changed. Everything in
I
this
know, right?
building seems to change each year for the better, I might
right.
add.
We won't make you shout at us this year, which is great.
No, no. But this is a nice open setup. I think it's much better than it was before. When you offered the open mic, it was hard for me as a former politician to pass that up. But I figured that I would do what we normally do here. I want to thank the school committee for inviting us to reenact this presentation. The superintendent has been kind enough over the years, and the superintendents even before him, to allow us to make this presentation the day that all the teachers come back. And so it's a great way to kick off the year when they're able, particularly for the new teachers who come here, to learn the kind of community that they're going to come into and the type of colleagues that they're going to have teaching with them. We're very pleased to say that it's been going on now since 1998. Arthur Caswell was our first recipient in 1998. We said at the time that we would try to do this forever. So far, we're keeping our word, but if interest rates don't go up soon, we might have a little bit of a problem. So it's been 17 years. And so that you'll know the way that this happens, each year, the teachers are nominated by anybody in the community, other teachers, parents, or simply people in the community who know of them. The nominations then are reviewed by each school council, and the school council selects the winner, the winning nominee for their building. And then those are all put together. My board, my foundation board, then selects 7 people at large from the community. And by the way, there's 7 people, 7 different people each year. And so that means that there have been some 119 people from the community who've participated in this. So it's really become, I think, a very prestigious award here in the community. It's definitely by the community, for the community, in recognition of the fact that we have a wonderful education system and we have great teachers. This is not a Best Teacher Award. We emphasize that every year. Each of these people has won the nomination for their building, and we're very proud of that. Each of these people is considered as being among the outstanding teachers in our community. And this is what the award is, an outstanding teacher that's recognized each year. When we started this, our board questioned 2 things. 1, are we going to have enough money to do this on and on? And 2, are there going to be enough outstanding teachers? Well, 17 years later, when that selection committee of people within the community who actually make the selection, each of them, when the meeting ends, inevitably it's the same comment. I never knew we had such outstanding teachers in the town of Milford. And so we want now to recognize before the community at large the fact that we do have outstanding teachers, and we're going to name the ones who are the winners for 2014. To begin with, a woman who has gone on, who has gone on to Boston University, from the Milford faculty to the Boston University faculty, but before she left, she was nominated and won the nomination for her school, Rebecca Lewis. I guess I'll forget my list and just go by this. Okay, from the Memorial School, Christine Shabbat. From the Middle School East, Alyssa Holland. I want to emphasize that the school committee had nothing to do with this selection, nor did we, but rather a selection committee from the community. And from, who is this? From Woodland School, Corey Daniels. And from Milford High School, Eamon Cunningham. There you go, get it back. And the individual who was named the outstanding teacher for 2014, who I know my own grandchildren thought was one of the best teachers they ever had, is a young man whose family was in the education business. His mother was a teacher in the Milford system, along with my wife, a couple of years ago. And he, this year, is the outstanding Teacher of the Year who wins this plaque and $1,000. Robert Gilmore.
Thank you. I'm going to just say a few words that I said the day I received the award. There was one teacher when I was here at Milford High School that meant a lot to me. The way he taught was very inspiring. His name is Mr. Lou Piazza, who's my physics teacher in high school. The way he taught stuck with me all these years, and I think of him often as I'm teaching. And as Senator Bertozzi mentioned, my mother, Mildred Gilmore, more than 30 years here in the district, has been an inspiration of what great teaching looks like my whole life. So thank you all for this opportunity to talk, and all of these people are equally or more deserving to be here. So congratulations again to everyone.
And again, I want to say thank you for having us here and allowing us to showcase some of your teachers. We hope that you'll be here next year, and we'll be here next year to be able to show you that we're never running out of outstanding teachers in the Milford system as long as you keep doing your job. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. Really, just, on behalf of the committee, we couldn't be more proud of the job that you guys are doing. And I've been the good fortune of a parent who is being a parent with 2 children in the school system. Some of you have had some of my children, and I hear about many of you very frequently. So congratulations, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is the Milford Public Schools policy readings. We've got a couple of readings that we're going through this evening. So the first reading, this is a first reading for the middle school athletics program, and then a second reading for the KF2 athletic complex usage. So Joe, are you going to read them off for us?
Sure.
Excellent.
No problem. So we'll start off with the middle school athletics. So what we'd like to ask, and I just want to be clear that we're going to request that the committee vote to accept the material as a handbook at the middle school level as opposed to a policy. So consistent with what we've done at the high school, where we've adopted the MIAA athletic handbook at the high school level, we're going to request that or ask the committee to adopt the MIAA handbook for middle school sports as well. There were just some minor changes. As you go through the report, you'll see the red line changes. I think the biggest changes that were made were in regards to, on page 6, we incorporated our own insurance language, and we incorporated our own concussion language as well. And those are really the main changes that were made to the handbook that the MIA provides for middle school sports. So I know this is a first reading, so I guess I'll ask the committee if you're comfortable taking a vote to adopt the handbook, or if you'd prefer to take some time to review it further, and then we could bring it forth at a later meeting.
Open it up to any members. Any members have any questions or concerns about just 1 point? So this is is this the MIAA or the MIAC? MIAC, because there's a differentiation between middle school versus. So it's the middle.
It's the so this would be the MLAC.
MLAC. Okay, so
right.
middle level athletic committee.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, then, if no member have any questions or concerns, if there's a motion, we can certainly.
I motion to accept it. I mean, it is going to be a handbook. We can change it if we need to. I mean, we've been through it. We made minimal changes to it. I mean, it's certainly comprehensive. It covers most everything that we do. So I'm certainly comfortable motioning to accept the policy.
Motion from Pat, second from Mike.
I just said policy, I meant handbook. Motion that we accept the handbook.
Yep.
To whomever's taking minutes.
Yep. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? No. All in favor? It is unanimous. So we can move on to the second reading.
All right, so the next one is a second reading of the athletic complex usage policy. As you'll see as you go through the draft, there are a number of red line changes. The first was changing the title of the policy from athletic complex usage to turf field complex usage. The reason for that change is the policy is specific to the turf field and the area surrounding the turf field. So we didn't want to create any confusion by calling it an athletic complex usage, because people may think the fields behind the high school would be included in here, or the softball fields, or some of the other fields around the high school. So this is very specific to the turf field, the track, and the concession stand bathroom area.
Okay.
So that's the first change there. As we mentioned in the first reading, we added some dates under the important dates section just to provide some clarity as to when the applications needed to be submitted and what seasons that those applications applied to. In addition to that, on page 3 of 4, we added a bullet to exclude softball and baseball from being played on the field. There were some instances where kids were going out there and hitting a baseball around or a softball around, so we wanted to make it clear that that's prohibited. And then you'll also find that we had stricken chairs and tables from that section. We had a discussion prior to this meeting that's actually going to be amended to read chairs or tables except for use during gatherings as defined previously on the first page under civic gatherings. So chairs and tables are allowed for civic gatherings, but chairs and tables are not allowed if there's a football game going on and a coach wants to sit down, for example.
Okay.
All right. And then the last section on the last page at the bottom, we added, for the courtesy of all users, bathrooms are expected to be cleaned and restocked at the conclusion of the event. Otherwise, a fee may be imposed. Not referenced here, but in addition, we are going to be adding after a fee may be imposed and/or a site manager may be required for Milford youth groups. So, as you know from the fee schedule up above, today the youth groups pay a fee of $25 per hour to use the field, and we do not require a site manager. We have some great partners in the youth leagues, and they do a good job managing the facilities and hiring their own site managers. We want to continue to give them the option to do that. But in the event that for whatever reason the field isn't kept to the extent we'd like to see it kept, then we have the flexibility to require a site manager.
Mike?
Joe, just to back up for a second, I thought it was, when the field was first opened, I thought any chairs, I'm gonna use chairs instead of tables, that were placed on the field, there was supposed to be some kind of a protective tarp put down. And I'm trying to think, the first year, Bob, we sat there for a graduation, wasn't there a white tarp that was covering the turf field and the chairs were put on that? Although this year I know there wasn't anything.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not sure why that is the case. I know the chairs, if you notice, maybe it's that they've changed the chairs they've used. In the past, they used the metal chairs, and now I believe it's the, I
Runners.
describe 'em, yeah.
You've got the runners on the bottom
of
as
the chairs,
opposed
they don't have like
Yeah.
specific points of the chair. It's a bar.
Well, that's my concern, that I can understand allowing tables and chairs for
Being maybe
specific. Exactly, but we should be maybe a little bit more specific so that the right tables and chairs get out on the field, you know?
That makes a lot of sense.
That's a
Yeah.
very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be my only concern as well, is just we're playing with a really expensive piece of turf there.
Could we simply say, it's just, type and style must be pre-approved by the Central Administration Office upon application?
Yeah.
Approved by the Milford Public Schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine, but as long as there's
Just so we
something
can
in
know what they're
there.
gonna, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Any other members have any other questions? Okay. I do just have a couple other questions. Just to outline this, so who will be the one that makes the determination for whether there would be, a fee incurred? Who's gonna do the follow-up inspection of the bathrooms? Referencing on page 404, who's gonna kind of go out and, do we have a process that's put in place or something that's discussed of who's gonna go out and kind of check and say, all right, so yeah, you're good, no, this isn't what our standard was, and now we're gonna charge a fee, or for a Milford Youth Organization, we're gonna impose that we're gonna require you to have a site manager.
Yeah, was that Rob Quinn and
Well, it would be the
Custodian.
custodial department that would be doing the cleaning, so if they find something out of order, they're gonna obviously tell, Rob Quinn. And, you know, we wouldn't impose any kind of fee without having a discussion and working it out with them, and letting them know what we found and what was a concern. 'Cause the intent is that after the group, uses the field, they would check the bathrooms to make sure that there wasn't any wrongdoing or,
And that's, I guess that's my only question is, in many cases, as we know, and we're heading into, you know, one of the heaviest uses of the uses time of the year of, and it's back to back to back to back group, so it may be, you know, lacrosse group X that's on from 7 to 8, from 8 to 9, it's a soccer group, from 9 to 10, it's a football group, and is somebody going out there and checking this bathroom in between each group, and how do we kinda, it becomes sort of a logistical piece, I guess, is my question on
I
that.
think it's communication.
Okay.
You know, you've got one group going in, you've got another group that might find something, reports that, and we go back to see where the last permit was. And, you know, we contact somebody and have a discussion. And, you know, usually they'll have, an answer for us, and I have to be honest with you, I don't see it being a problem.
Okay.
In the future. Everybody's been so respectful of the field and the bathrooms. I think it's just having language for protection.
Okay.
That's all.
And then just sort of along that same note, are the bathrooms now open?
they are.
They are fully functional and
The
fully
new
open?
bathrooms are
The new
open
ones,
today,
okay,
and the old bathrooms have been open for the last, at least week, if not a couple of weeks. In case those bathrooms weren't open in time, the target was September 1st, they were opened on time, so they're open for today's, there's a game today.
Yep.
They're open for the game.
all right. I know obviously we got our first football game coming up tomorrow. We've
Tomorrow
had
night,
some
yeah.
usage of the field already, and I know we had some concerns over the summertime with, there were some groups that were having to, bringing in porta potties, and, and obviously it's a great complex. We want to make sure great opportunity to showcase Milford. We have a huge investment in the town, from the town. We want to make sure that we've got everything up and going for them, so. All right, great. I don't have any other questions. So are you proposing we adopt, or is this is a second reading, we're gonna come back for a third because you're gonna make more changes?
Yeah, well, we could propose to adopt today with the caveat that we would add those 2 minor changes.
Is that your proposal?
That's my proposal.
So do you want to put that in the form of is that a motion then that you're
I make a motion to adopt with the
Thank you.
changes that we discussed.
Excellent. Do I have a second? Second from Dawn. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, guys. I know that those are a lot of work, and it's every if and that button and I appreciate the hard work you guys are putting in there. Thank you. Excuse me. Next item on the agenda is report of the superintendent of schools. Opening a school report. How did we do, Bob?
It's great. I had the chance, as you know, to walk with you on the first day. I know everybody has commitments with their work, members of the committee, but those of us who were able to join, those of you who were able to join us saw firsthand, as did the administration, how clean the buildings looked. The students were excited to be there. My appreciation to the custodial team, to the principals. Many staff members, if not all staff members, had come in on their own time prior to the start of school to get the rooms set up, and they put a lot of hours into that. So people who think the teachers sort of punch in on the first day of school, that is hardly the case, as you would see by walking through any of the classrooms. So everything looked great. Overall the facilities look good. In terms of enrollment in the district, we have our central registration agency, if you will, our Family Resource Center. I spent about 4 hours in there the other day, hearing that we had a lot of students coming into the school district. But what I'm seeing too is we have a number of students that are leaving the school district, for any number of reasons. And what we're finding, those students are coming in from a variety of places, from around the students who were here once, who went to a private school, who've come back. Students who elected not to go to BBT, for example, who chose to go to Milford High School. Probably the high school is seeing the largest enrollment. I believe about 45 students registered from July 1st to the start of the school year. So we still have students that are registering for school. When I was down there the other day, it was about 10 families in registering. Despite our efforts to try to, and it's not like it's kindergarten students, the conscientious in February, start to think about starting school. So we have students that do come in for transferring or any number of reasons. But overall, the numbers has continued over the last 20 years to be about the same. The overall enrollment continues to be, as of this date, September 1st, 4,170 students total in the district, which actually right now shows a bit of a decline from September 1st of last year with about 4,200, and then almost on par with 2 years ago at 4,182 in 2012. So doing a quick 3-year analysis, and that's consistent with what we've seen, the trend analysis looking forward for the next 10 years, looking back 20 years. The numbers literally fluctuated by about 100 in a 30-year span. So we don't expect any major, you might have a bubble year here or there with a certain grade level for a certain reason. But as you know, we try to watch that daily this time of the year. Just to walk you through some of those enrollment numbers. So preschool, we have a total enrollment of 137 students. In kindergarten, at Brookside School, kindergarten, we have 174 students. So the class average there is about 19 in kindergarten at Brookside.
That's terrific.
And at Memorial School, and these, by the way, not to pat our administrative team on the back too hard, but these numbers don't happen entirely by accident. So thank Lenny Morcone as well. We've had to move some, as you probably got some phone calls, we had to move some families from one district to another to accommodate that. So the kindergarten number at Brookside, as I mentioned, 174, about 19 on average in the class. Just shifting to Memorial School, just to keep the grades comparable, kindergarten there at about 20 class average, so right on par with the two schools, 163 students at Memorial School and kindergarten. Grade 1 at Brookside School is 176 students, but we also have our Milestones program there, so the average, keeping to the side the Milestones classes that have 3 or 4 students, the full class enrollment's about 19 on average in grade 1 at Brookside, and it's about 18 on average in grade 1 at Memorial. And in grade 2, 181 students, about 22 on average in grade 2 at Brookside. And in grade 2 at Memorial School, also 22 class average there. So overall, our classes are balanced within the schools and across the 2 schools in the district. So 22 is not a great. It's higher than 18, but it's still a very manageable number. We're not tipping the scale there. Woodland School is a slightly different story. We've had a growth about 30 students over last year, and Woodland was pretty tight last year. So you're looking at grade 3 over total enrollment there of 330 students. So class average is about 23.5. And grade 4, 346 students, class average about 24.7, so pushing 25. Again, I would bring that number down and add a teacher if I could just find a place to do it. There's just no space to do it. There's no space to do it.
Do you think some of that, Bob, is people, the interest getting sparked for the new school? So they're trying to get into the old school, so they're...
I didn't ask that question to people who've come into the district, so I don't know that what, the causality of that 30 student spike. I think it just could be by circumstance, just happens to be that. I don't think they're coming there knowing that, because they wouldn't be in the school by the time it opens. So there wouldn't be an inherent benefit. If that spike were to happen, you almost want to see that in grade K1 or 2. So those students would benefit.
Point, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's part of my research is to try to find out what causes that. I'm particularly interested in the high school. Unlike an elementary school where you could add a teacher, move students, and now class size is suddenly 19 instead of 23, the high school's a different situation because now you have all these electives, and if you had to add a teacher, where do you add it? What discipline? And how do you bring a number down there? So we have to monitor that more closely. There's still things happening in the high school schedule with shifting students here and there, and it's still very early. I mean, preschool and kindergarten just started yesterday, right? It feels like a month ago, but it was just yesterday.
Pretty sure it was
yesterday.
Yeah, pretty sure it was yesterday.
I know, these days seem long. But moving on to Stacy Middle School, so grade 5 total enrollment is 298. Grade 6 total enrollment is 305. Grade 7 317 for a total of 920 students, which by this grid is down 30 students from last year. So overall, it should be lower class sizes generally. But again, there's still students who are in the pipeline to be registered. I don't know that exact number. Middle School East, 318 students, down 2 from last year. And Milford High School, we have in grade 9, 284, grade 10, 271, grade 11, 283, and grade 12, 286, for a total of enrollment of 1,124, which by this grade appears to be less than last year's number of 1,152. But I know there are students who are in the pipeline to be registered at the high school, so I know that number will be greater than last year's number. So again, overall total district enrollment as of September 1st is 4,170 students. So that's the data side of the opening day. But I just want to commend the staff, the families. It was really one of the more seamless years I've seen. I've seen less. I guess if you base it on seamless, the number of crying parents, the number of crying children, I didn't see many. So I
think my mother was there crying, actually.
oh, she was overall very smooth. My appreciation to the bus drivers, to Lenny Morcone, tremendous work that he did on bus routes, Rob Quinn, Carla Tuttle, and all the staff here. And just wanted to thank them all for a great opening to the school.
It's also, if I can just add, the open house that the district offers is such a great opportunity. I know some teachers are there. I know it's not a mandatory work day, but many are there. You can tell the rooms have been carefully, thought about, and they're really ready to go. And I think that does decrease the number of upset people, just that ability to get in and see my classroom and see how to get there. I know a lot of the schools have some kind of a social event, the ice cream for the little guys at kindergarten, and Woodland does something similar. It just goes a long way in helping people feel welcome and getting that excitement and interest peaked for the school year. So thank you for that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it's great to see that each school has sort of taken on their own different dynamic. I know up at the high school the mentoring program of having an upperclassman, having a senior come in and sort of having a familiar face that they're getting acquainted with, and the students know who they are, and this is a big school and a huge transition from a one-grade school that holds a couple hundred kids to certainly our flagship here that we have on this beautiful high school. But it's a beautiful maze when you're 13, 14 walking into this building. So I think it's fantastic with the administrators and the teachers and the students, and everyone just does. So.
Mr. Chairman, I was actually going to reach out to you and the superintendent. I think that's a great idea, but what I really would like to see is either we go back to adapting the program that we had 2 or 3 years ago, where each school committee member had a school, was assigned a school, so that you could focus on that school all year long. The opening day of school, as we used to say in the past, well, all the suits come in, we run in for 15 minutes, I didn't make it this year, and then we jump in our cars and go to the next school instead of doing, could we go back to something like that where each member takes on a school and you spend the year in that school? Or I thought of another idea, if we took once a month on a Friday, you say a 2-hour span from 9 to 11, and the principal knows we're coming, whoever can make it, makes it, and we basically go into that school, with you as the superintendent, with the principal, walk the school, listen to the principal, what concerns they have, is that a better way to handle it? But I think either one of them, we need to, adapt something to do that. Because I think running in on the first day of school, and for the most part, they never see us again, really is not really the correct way to handle it, so.
Yeah, whatever the committee wants to do, I'm
I mean,
happy with any of those.
Yeah, I'll certainly toss it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see, Bob, if you could work out the logistics on the Friday piece of it. We know how each committee member getting a building works. I mean, you go to the PTO meeting, and so if we could maybe look at the logistics of work out the second option that Mike had suggested. I'd be interested to hear more about it, absolutely.
So would you be comfortable if I just assigned everybody to a school then?
Well,
or do we
I would
wanna-
just like to see how it would work and how the rotation would work, and then we can decide which one is going to work better for the committee.
Okay.
If that's
Any other members have any
You guys are okay with that?
feelings or otherwise?
I'd love to do that,
Yeah.
honestly.
Guys? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think,
How'd you
Bob,
feel
if
about
you-
jumping into a classroom for a day? I could have you, put you in there as a teacher for
Wow,
the day in the
yeah.
life.
absolutely, and you can just come and do my reports.
Yeah, all right,
So
we'll
that'd be
trade
perfect.
for-
Yeah.
I'll
trade
trade-
for it- we'll trade for a
I was
day.
gonna say,
We'll trade for it.
I'll trade conference calls with you for the day.
It's not with me, it's with the teachers. You can have my job, the teachers. That's the one you'd be wishing you didn't have.
Just so you know, the day that you'll be representing me, you'll be in Montville, New Jersey, so that'll be a wonderful thing for you.
The only caveat I'd throw out there is we want to make sure it's a productive use of their time, right? Because we're going in and disrupting the classrooms and the school setting. So to Patrick's point, let's get a little bit more information as to what those 2 hours would look like on Fridays. I do really like the idea of assigning a dedicated person to each school, because just going out and attending the PTO meetings or the school council meetings, you get a lot of information. These are people that are very much engaged. They understand what's going on. They understand what the challenges are at each individual school, and to have a sounding board, I think would be.
Well, that's what I heard. I didn't hear, maybe I heard it wrong. I didn't hear all 7 members going for 2 hours to that one school. Is that what you meant?
No, like
I was
rotating
thinking-
schedules.
I
what I
meant
heard,
either or. You
Okay.
assign a member to a school, like my first year I had Shining Star.
Right.
And what works with that program is by attending the council meetings, by attending the PTO, and getting introduced. What happens now is when a parent does have a legitimate concern, they reach out to you. They have a name and a face, and and you have a close relationship with that school because you're spending time in there, and it's a good handshake.
Sure.
So Bob, if you could work out some logistics and a couple of proposals around either combination of the, assigning sort of a pencil agreement, so to speak, with, members of different schools, 7 members, 7 schools, so that works out. And then, also the idea of the Friday visits as well, and kind of what that would look and feel like, and how would we be able to be sort of the most sort of impactful and without being disruptive, and kind of get that back for next meeting. Is that all right?
That would be fine. Thank you.
Bob, is that all right for you
Yep.
from a timeline?
No
Perfect.
problem.
Okay. Good suggestion, Mike. Thanks. Anybody else have anything on the opening of school? All right, Bob, you're up still with the Woodland
Sure.
building update.
We've just updated today. We received the Woodland update, the monthly project update for August. So your drop boxes have been, if you looked at it before today, it would have had I believe it's the July one. So you have now the August update. But let me just walk you through that quickly with the, there's been a lot of activity. The project management team, and Patrick, feel free to, jump in at any point on, you at the last meeting as well for the school building committee. We're at the 60% construction design phase. Which means that, for MSBA standards, the project is at the point of we're 60% complete. This is the critical point, because if the numbers were the estimates that came in from the 3 sources, the estimates from the architect, the estimates from the project management team, and probably most importantly, the estimates from the contractor that's on board, the construction manager at risk, those estimates came in like, I don't know, within a very small margin of one another.
I want to say it was like $200.
Yeah, it was crazy
incredibly close. Yeah,
So,
incredibly close.
because all those estimates lined up, there was absolutely, we didn't have to go back and do any value engineering to this building to say, well, we're over by $1 million, let's come up with a cut here, there. There is no value engineering that needs to be done with those estimates. So it's a tight budget, it's a great design, and now we're pushing on to the 90% design phase.
And honestly, that's a credit to the process put in by the school building committee. This one that we've been going through now for the past 4 years has been so different to anything we've done before. And the idea really is to come out with a building and a design plan that's not going to require change orders. It's not going to require surprise investments. And everyone who was following the renovation of the Brookside School knows that they were surprising. So it's remarkable that all this work that we did on the front end is now paying dividends, where these votes that were formerly contentious, where we're fighting about, are we taking away a certain type of lighting fixture or a certain type of finish on the inside, that goes away and everything comes in on budget. And it was a pleasure to sit through that meeting. It was really great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We have the planning board approval, granted final site approval. So now it's the push for the, as I mentioned, the 90% design, then ultimately the 100% that's submission to MSBA, and then we break ground. So we're looking at a March groundbreaking here. We'll start an early construction bid process, probably in October or November.
November, they said, yeah.
November. We'll try to go out to bid early on steel, because it's all sort of custom manufactured steel framing. Go out to bid as early as November, and we'll start to see some action up at the new Woodland School site in March, with still on target to open in August of 2016.
And to everyone who was aware of the construction faults with the Woodland building, will not be pouring concrete in April. The construction manager promised us that there will be no heating elements or tarps or all that. We're going to pour concrete when it cures. So for anyone that paid attention to the Woodland School and what happened there, that's not going, well, we're doing everything within our power to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right.
All right, good job.
So-
Good. All of our construction managers are aware of what the weather in New England looks like.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they're all aware of not wanting to deal with Patrick Kennelly.
Yeah.
Is what
That's-
they're aware of.
And that is
They are aware.
more than appropriate. All right, excellent.
Just
Joe.
a quick question. So when they do break ground and start construction, is there going to be an access road for
Yeah.
all the vehicles and everything will be fenced off? So
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be completely separate access, so that, and everybody who's on a job site, will have been quarried and fingerprinted as well, even though there's not gonna be any interaction with our, we've made that as a record, school building committee required that at a recent meeting, to make sure, if we're holding our teachers to the fingerprinting requirement, we're gonna hold our contractors on that site. They don't come onto our property.
So there's a separate entrance, it's fenced off from the school building, and they're all quarried and fingerprinted, so.
Wow, that's
awesome.
That's
Throughout
awesome.
that construction process, what are they doing about gym and recess and all that stuff?
Well, basically, the athletic field will be closed off, the soccer field area,
Yes.
but everything else will still, it's not gonna interrupt any of the activities at the Woodland School site presently,
Okay.
for that construction piece of it.
Okay,
We're trying to minimize that. I'll know more as we get closer to the actual groundbreaking but our plan is to minimize, as much as possible, any impact on the existing operation. We are gonna do some time-lapse photography as part of this project, so we can sort of see this come to life. And certainly we'll post up some of the new final designs in the school monitors and on our website. So it's a very exciting time. It's really starting to pick up some momentum now, and come winter time, we'll really be probably meeting bi-weekly, if not more. And so, is any other questions? That's all I have on the report this evening.
March, that's right around the corner.
It's really,
Right,
we just-
tomorrow.
Right.
right.
All right. Any other questions from any other committee members? And
Thank you,
seeing
Mr.
none, we'll
Chairman.
move forward. All right, next is Kathy, you're up. Report of the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Human Resources.
I have for the committee's review this evening, a list of the latest hires and appointments from our previous meeting. And I do have, and I debated whether to bring them all, but I have 9 warrants for the committee's approval, and I thought we have to do them.
Yep.
So the first warrant is in the amount of $2,668.67.
Okay, get a motion from Patrick, second from Dawn. All in favor? Motion carries.
The second warrant is in the amount of $15,653.38.
Motion from Mike, second from Jen. All in favor? All in favor, unanimous? Motion carries.
The third warrant is in the amount of $155,147.38.
Motion from Joe, second from Patrick. All in favor? All in favor is unanimous. Motion carries.
The fourth warrant is in the amount of $226,701.42.
Take a motion from Joey, second from Jen. All in favor? Unanimous in favor. Motion carries.
The fifth warrant is in the amount of $2,133.53.
Take a motion from Dawn, second from Patrick. All in favor? Unanimous in favor. Motion carries.
The sixth warrant is in the amount of $127,568.06.
Take a motion from Joe, second from Jen. All in favor? Motion carries.
The seventh warrant is in the amount of $176,097.65.
Okay, take a motion from Jen, second from Mike. All in favor? Unanimous in favor, motion carries.
And the eighth warrant is in the amount of $232,603.49.
Okay, take a motion from somebody, Patrick? I'm running out of hands here. Second from Mike. All in favor? Unanimous in favor, motion
We
carries.
just spent a lot of money.
I was gonna say, we're getting nervous with all this spending.
We're not done, we still have one more.
Yes.
There's still one
The
more?
last warrant is in the amount of $209,386.90.
Take a motion from somebody, motion from Dawn, second from Joe. All in favor? All unanimous in favor, motion carries. That was the fastest I've spent that amount of money in my entire life. So,
Wow.
Kathy, thank you.
Happy to
right.
please.
Any personnel updates?
No course reimbursement this evening.
Okay.
So I am complete.
All right, thank you. And no jury duties.
And no jury.
Wow,
I know.
wow.
It's
Somebody
easy
mark the
breezy.
date. We'll move on to Kevin, report of the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment.
No card, no card.
No card today. It's coming though. It's coming, Mike. Be ready, baby. I just wanted to share some feedback on the 2013-14 teacher mentoring program and discuss some of the changes we're making to the program this year. Last year, we ran 6 meetings for new teachers that focused on communicating with parents, classroom management, special education, response to intervention, differentiated instruction, and English language learners. And we received pretty positive feedback from the new teachers at the conclusion of the year on this, so we're going to continue that program this year. We also brought our new teachers into a 2-day induction the Thursday and Friday before school opened, August 21st and 22nd. And we provided them with kind of the approach we're taking now is we're looking to give an orientation to how Milford approaches key topics and initiatives like special education, PBIS, response to intervention. A lot of the topics I just mentioned that we did sessions on, we're trying to open that up as part of our orientation program. I just wanted to recognize our mentor coordinators for all the hard work that they did, Paula Mullahu, Stephen Weber, and Amanda Cunningham, who really helped to organize the event. And we had several of our department heads and curriculum team leaders, Meg Belcito, Jen Lancaster, Kelly True, Judy Dagnes, Patty Kelly, our principals, assistant principals, and then our administrative and human resources team, who all participated in presentations. So it was a real team effort, and they got to see perspectives from a lot of key players throughout the district. And I thought they did an excellent job of kind of having a very nice interactive presentation for all the new folks. Feedback from last year's new teachers, more than 90% of the new teachers felt that their mentor was supportive, provided helpful advice when the teacher was faced with an issue or question, provided an orientation to the school and district, and provided effective feedback on their classroom practice. So the relationships based on the feedback of the new teachers last year were very good. That mentor-mentee relationship was very good, very productive. We're hoping to add a technology support component this year as the teachers are navigating through X2, Baseline Edge, various online curriculum tools, a lot of hardware and software. So we brought in a technology integration teacher that's going to help support those new teachers with kind of navigating a lot of those systems, which can be very complex. It's kind of learning several new software programs, several new applications.
Okay.
And that's what I've got.
Patrick.
I've had an opportunity to speak with several mentees and several mentors, and I think that the feedback that I've gotten was also overwhelmingly positive. And the main piece of feedback that I'd like the committee to know is that they talk about the flexibility of the program, where a teacher that's new to the system maybe needs different handling than a teacher that's just transferring between buildings. And so there's a lot of flexibility that Kevin's built into the mentoring program. So it's really addressing the needs of individual teachers. It's not a one size fits all. And I think honestly that's the reason why everyone is so satisfied with it, because
Yeah, and we're really trying to make it work for the new teachers and make their transition into Milford very smooth.
Yeah.
That's really the goal.
Yeah.
That's great. Any other members? Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
All right. So we'll move into subcommittee updates. First one is the athletics subcommittee. Any updates? I don't know if you guys have had a chance to meet over the summer or since the last one.
We
Okay.
didn't have a chance to meet. I will be looking to schedule a meeting next week. I did reach out to Nick Zakili earlier today, kind of get an update as to how things are going. He said that the middle school program's going off without a hitch. I mean, other than getting everybody's paperwork in, and
That's
it's the first time for that. He said he'd like to see a couple more female athletes come out. I guess they could use a couple more spots, but they have plenty of players for the boys, and so said that's pretty exciting. What I will want to do, I know he's anxious to see if we can't come together as to what do we want to do for the athletic director moving forward. I know he signed up through, I want to say December 1st, and what he voiced to me was if we could work together, have somebody come in. I think he'd like to have somebody come in by November 1st, Bob,
Yeah.
so we can kind of have that 1 month of mentoring and transitioning things over. I know he's been concerned about how much time it's been when he took this on. He knew it was going to be a flood in the beginning, as it has been. I asked him how much time he's been spending over the last few weeks, and it's averaging 60 hours a week, so which is a pretty big burden on him right now. So I want to thank Nick Zakili for all the hard work that he's doing for for us as we're transitioning through this period. So just the fact that he was willing to do that was tremendous. But I'd like to make sure we're supporting him. So Joe, I don't know what your schedule looks like for next week, and Bob, if you could have Melissa coordinate a meeting. I would like to have Kathy there. I would like to have Nancy there. Let's see, Kerry, and I'm sorry, who's in the new principal for
John
middle
Jones.
school is John. Yeah,
John
sorry.
Jones, yep.
But and then I'm gonna ask Nick to come in. And what I asked Nick today for that meeting is to prepare his assessment of what the role is, what it should be, and just kind of give us an update on everything that he's learned over the last few weeks.
We have a meeting with him tomorrow, Kathy and I do. And, so we should be on the same page. We'll set
Great.
that meeting up. Did you have a date, Don, that you wanted to shoot for? We just need that for
Thursday or Friday,
Thursday or
if
Friday night.
possible.
You guys can take a look at your schedules offline and
Yep.
that's something we
Yeah,
can kind of do.
I'll email you or whatever.
I was just thinking for the posting
We
requirement, if I
coordinate.
had to do it for Monday, I'd
Yep.
have to do it tomorrow, so.
Because Monday you got the safety and security.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Policy Subcommittee. I know you guys met earlier and we just went through your work, I think.
Yeah,
Any
we-
other- any
I think we've
additional,
done
that's a lot of
enough,
work,
right?
so. Any
Yeah.
additional updates?
No additional updates. I did have one question though, just on the athletic, if we can jump back to that.
Oh, I'm sorry, yep, I apologize.
Has the job posting been made yet, or is it still?
We're in the
waiting for
process.
This committee to talk.
Well, we had a draft of it, the last round of this, and now we're revisiting that with some input from Nick. And then with, I think that's probably what we should discuss at the meeting that this subcommittee, right, is it review that job posting there? Because I know
Yeah,
that
I'd like to
Nancy-
discuss all the job postings, right? Wasn't there like a .2 at Memorial? And, I don't know where
But
we
that
are with
wouldn't be part of
Stacy,
the
but-
athletics.
Not as part of the
Athletic-
athletics.
Yeah,
The
athletic
athletics would be
subcommittee
just,
is for the,
I thought that was, Jim but doesn't matter.
no, that's just my question. The point two, I thought you were talking about the,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the athletic director
Yeah.
posting,
Right.
which is
Right.
in the process of being redrafted, so we can post that in October for a November hire.
Okay.
So that's being, Nick wants to meet with us tomorrow to inform that posting. So I presume that's, we wanted to start talking about it at the next meeting next week.
Right.
Okay.
all set?
All set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I apologize, I should have asked for questions earlier. And Policy Subcommittee, you guys are all, thank you guys for all the work that you guys did as well. Anybody have any questions for the Policy Subcommittee? Okay. Safety and Security Subcommittee,
We meet Monday.
meeting on Monday. Okay, great, thank you. We will move on to new business. Any members have any new?
Mr. Chairman, I probably
Yeah.
should have done this earlier.
That's
I
okay.
actually reached out to Dr. Tremblay yesterday. At work, they came, one of my employees came to get me and said that somebody wanted to see me. So I come out of my office and the first thing I'm thinking, oh boy. And I walk up to the counter and I recognize this young man. I knew him when he was very young. Now he's married, has children, has a daughter in the Milford school system. And he said, I just want you to know, he said, I want to say thank you, to all the members of the Milford School Committee, to Dr. Tremblay, to the administration, to all the teachers. He said, to be honest with you, to everybody on the staff in the Milford Public Schools. And I want to go as far as to carry it to the Milford Youth Center. He says, because as a parent of 2 children in this town, we are so fortunate to have people like all of you out there working every day to try and help us. He said, I watch your meetings. He said, I go to town meeting and I see what happens at town meeting. And it's because of great people that are in the district, in the system, that are fighting for these children every day. He said, that's why the Milford Public Schools, the Milford Youth Center, and to be honest with you, the town of Milford is so successful. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that there are people out there that do appreciate what we do. So, great job.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other members have any new business?
Can I take it as anything at Bob right now?
Go right
Just a
ahead.
little one?
Just,
Can we try and get new badges before November this year?
We can try.
that's more of a,
I'll speak to, I'll speak to Chris Moore.
What's that?
I'll speak to
Mine's
Chris Moore.
12.
Yours is 12?
Yours?
Mine's 13. I've 13.
yeah, I've got 13, 14.
Yeah, we definitely did them last year. But we'll
Yeah.
make sure we do
Yeah,
that.
if we could get
They're
those.
doing, I know they're doing photos again, so.
It's just a reminder. It isn't. This is the
Absolutely.
first time I've mentioned it, so it's not.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
I don't think I've changed that much.
Trying to keep everybody looking younger.
I was gonna say, actually, if I could keep the picture, that'd be great. No, thank
I'm pretty sure that's what Chris did.
that's exactly what he did. He actually doesn't need to take new pictures.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
this is the same
driver's
picture I've had
license.
for 4 years, and it's fine. I mean, it's still me.
We'll arrange for badge pictures to be taken.
It's exactly you right there.
It might be this tie, actually.
All right.
I like this. This is
Any
very
other-
Milford.
Uniform.
It's red, it's
Here we go.
scarlet. It's a very Milford tie. I
There you
like to
go,
wear
right?
it.
I do, I still have this tie.
Any other members have any new business? All right. Let's move on to old business. Any members have any old business? All right. We will take our next piece is adjournment. Just a motion to adjourn. Motion from Mike, second from Patrick. All in favor? All right.
Nice job, Mr. Chairman.
Have a good evening, gentlemen. Thank
Have a
you.
seat.
And
Thank
ladies
you,
and
everyone.
gentlemen, thank you.